we'd like to welcome Ted Topuzis with Topuzis and Associates, and we're talking about email and wire scams because it's still ongoing. It's still a huge issue, and people are getting screwed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No question. It's been a topic in our industry, for some time now, and it just remains there. We've gotten some fraudulent emails sent to us by buyers or sellers, or agents recently, and I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention once again, just to let them know that don't forget that just because we haven't discussed it in a while, it's still a relevant issue and it needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And I mean, you should be wearing a Superman cape right now because you've recently identified a situation and you've stopped it right before it happened, and you've saved your client hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I have, yeah, thank God. I mean, it's hard. It does happen, and you can be the most vigilant of people. It can still get through to an employee or an agent or an unknowing buyer or seller that might think that they're getting an email from a trusted source when in actuality it's not. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring up a couple things and how this has come up, and also potentially just provide the audience with a sampling of the message that we received and something that they should be aware of. We use email as a source of communication now in the last, let's say, 20 years, which is a regular and convenient means of communication. It's quick, it's easy, it's convenient, and it gets the point across, and also provides you a record of our communication. A phone conversation, you wouldn't be able to record that on that communication, because it's a spoken,
verbal doesn't matter.
Word.
It's all about the written.
That's right.
The written word is matters.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that's why it's such an important means of communication.
That's why we don't delete our emails or get rid of them. That's why I have over 30,000 emails in my inbox.
Yep.
That I would never delete.
You never know when it can come in handy. You said what you said. When you said it. So that's exactly right, Emilio. And
we don't have anything to hide, so we keep our emails.
No, we gotta make sure that our butts are covered.
Yeah.
And so with that convenience, it also becomes a convenient way for scammers to get information from us, and also even defraud us of our clients' monies. This isn't anything new. We just spoke about the fact that this has been reported, by the National Association of Realtors, bar associations, title insurance underwriters. They've been bringing this up in meetings and CLE classes, continuing education classes for well over a year. And I want to give you the quick scenario of what typically happens, and then I have a sampling of a message that was sent to a buyer on one of our transactions where the agent was hacked, their email account was hacked, and the buyer questioned the message. Something didn't make sense to her, and she sent me an image of it as well as the fraudulent wiring instruction. Let me give you an example. All right, so a buyer or seller of real estate has an agent, represents them. They arrange for the closing attorney, the title company to handle the transaction. The agent uses a free email service such as Gmail, Yahoo, or AOL, and communicates with their client through this email service and the title company attorney. Agent is unaware that their account has been hacked by a scammer. Scammer is checking out all their messages, incoming and outgoing. Closing is scheduled. Title company and closing attorney inform the buyer the buyer's agent that the buyer needs to bring in a certain amount of money for their cash to close, and for their convenience sake, the wire wiring email information from the company, legitimate wiring information is sent out, attached to that email. The agent receives that message, but before the real estate agent forwards that message to their client, the scammer's already on it. He intercepts the message, will modify the wiring instruction to an account that they're using for their scamming purposes, and then forward the message, posing as the agent, to the buyer or the seller. The telltale signs that you need to be aware of, and the message that I received from this buyer was that instead of using the word THEIR, they used THERE. I mean, this is a common thing that even the most the most grammatically correct individuals may inadvertently or through an email with a spell checker might mess up that use of that word. But that's what happened in this message. And then there were other grammatical errors. And so those are the things that the telltale signs that people should be aware of when they're getting a communication from their agent. First of all, don't just hastily assume that the information that's received is correct. You've got to look at it and read it carefully. Grammatical errors like that are a sign, red flag, as well as what you were just referring to, Emilio, where the email address might have been changed very slightly. Let's say there was a number 1 in the email address, and the hacker changed that number 1 to an I. As subtle a difference as that is enough to confuse a buyer or a seller. That they're getting their email from a legitimate source. The buyers and sellers believe that the information that they receive from their agents are completely legitimate. They should be able to rely on them. But unfortunately,
people are taking advantage of this trust and of all of this through sources online. So if anything is ever questionable, you've got to call your agent, call your attorney, call your title company.
That's a great point, Emilio. And you also have to call them not from the latest communication that you received. Google the title company. Get their phone number from an online source, or look at the earliest form of communication that you received from them. Okay, and contact them from that, not from the most recent communication. The most recent communication may be from the hacker. There are ways to check this out, and the one that we had, we called the FBI, we called the bank that the hacker was using, we were able to pinpoint that they were actually in Nigeria. You know? And so it's as easy as that. The wire could be transferred to the wrong account and bounced right out of the country. So be vigilant.
They could be taking this money and funding terrorism. Who knows? Yeah. They could be funding anything. We got to be vigilant about this stuff. And if you're a realtor listening to this, or even if you're a homeowner, a seller, or a buyer, check this out. I want you to go to theroundtableradio.com. I want you to go under the contact section, okay? I want you to shoot me an email. Okay, and I want you in there, I want you to put real estate scams or wire fraud. I want you to indicate that you've listened to this segment. We're going to send you over an example Ted, is it okay if we send them? We're going to send you over an example of this letter that Ted has from this scam artist with the wiring instructions. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
again, posing as the agent, sent to the buyer. Yeah, so
totally crazy.
Change your passwords frequently. Make sure that you protect yourself if you're using one of these free accounts.
If you want a list of if you're a real estate agent, you want a list of ways to protect yourself or an in-depth conversation, I want you to go ahead and, again, contact Ted Tapuzis either in the contact section or the expert contributor section of theroundtableradio.com. And definitely take advantage of having somebody that knows all this stuff, that's been through it, that's avoided it. Ted Tapuzis with Tapuzis and Associates. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We look forward to having you back on the show next time.